this industry is characterised by the strength of its will to achieve change, and to achieve change not for itself, but to achieve change for the communities that it contributes to.
So we were first round the table when governments of both political parties were in government in Victoria to watch UDIA become a major representative body for the property development industry was indeed a highlight.
Going back 40 or 50 years, Melbourne had a definite sprawl problem. That in those days there was no bank finance for the purchase of lots. All lots were sold on 10% deposit balance at the end of 3 years, and there was no superannuation. So the only avenue that people had to save money was purchasing lots. So that every family owned 1, 2 or 3 or 4 lots. So if you did a 50-lot subdivision, and went back after 2 years, you'd find there'd only be 1 or 2 houses on it, which was a sprawl. Now, Melbourne has definitely evolved to the stage where now you go back on a subdivision now after 2 years and there'll be only 1 or 2 vacant lots left. So the sprawl has been contained and Melbourne has just changed.
The residential explosion in Melbourne over the last 40 years and how we've turned from a 9 to 5 city into very much a 24-hour city, I think those two things really create the livability factor that Melbourne has over other cities.
Winning the world's most livable city 5 years in a row is a fantastic feat for the city of Melbourne, and so it should, by the way. Within 2 kilometres of the city, arts precinct, cultural precinct, food precinct, sporting precinct, amazing public transport network connecting all those things, multicultural capital of Australia, just a fabulous city to live in.
The pressure will continue to be around affordability and sustainability as the cost of resources increases and cost of living in turn comes with that.
As Australia's economy continues to diversify, both nationally, globally and at a state level, Victoria's housing market continues to be one of the most pivotal foundations that we have here. It means jobs for people, it means development and investment in our economy, and the continued pipeline of that development and investment is very, very important to our long-term economic future.
It's been estimated to contribute to about $10 billion towards the state economy, and it's been estimated, I think, at 3.6% of gross state product. I think the government is actually acutely aware how important we are, and will become increasingly important as we have to cater for a sustained growth in population. In the next 40 years, our population is going to increase by some 4.5 million people, and we have to build 2.1 million homes.
The urban development industry as a whole is very good at adapting, is very good at employing new technologies, and is very good at doing things differently in order to completely evolve in a very positive way the city and the communities in which we exist and which we contribute to building.
We need to increase the amount of reserves, increasing the number of kindergartens, road reservations. All of that has been now catered for on the outskirts. So on the outskirts, you're getting a better level of servicing, better level of amenity than what you're doing in the established suburbs. As the city becomes more dense, we'll have more and more traffic problems, which means that the most efficient way of creating the jobs will be on the outskirts rather than fitting them into a tight area and then having to pull down houses to create places of employment.
The Urban Development Institute plays a very pivotal role within the sector in Victoria. Through our research activities, our advocacy agenda and our business building forums, we're able to really assist and encourage the industry to come together to do what it does best. One of the most important roles for the industry in the next 40 years will be how it engages with the community and how it engages with government and decision makers. And the Institute plays a very, very, very vital role to the success of the industry in that way.
The UDIA can continue to support the industry I think best by working with both the community and the government to complement what the industry's intentions and ambitions are and continue to be as they remain relevant to the social and economic context that we participate in.
We're there to provide solutions to work with government, and I think the fact is always forgotten, looking back at Melbourne over the last 40 years, or since its inception, is that the majority of what you see now, the majority of the great buildings, the great suburbs we see, is a result of private development, not government development. I mean, government sets the framework, the planning principles, but it's the development industry that actually achieves the results. And therefore, I think it's that close relationship between authority, government, and the development industry that's going to produce the appropriate outcomes in the future.
It's an industry that's all about people. The number of friends my wife and I have made through our 10 years experience in the industry has been phenomenal. It's got to be a people's industry. It is a people's industry. It's providing a place to live and communities for people in Victoria.
You know, today is such an exciting time to be in the urban development space with, as I mentioned, the rate of change being so exponential and the way we live our lives evolving so quickly with social media, with technology, with building methodologies, with transport, and the way that we're sort of broaching the evolutions of that every day across the urban fabric. I think it's such an exciting time to be in a role where we can influence the shape of our cities. And the way that UDIA plays that critical role, that fundamental piece between community and government, is the most exciting space to be because it stitches everything together. And hopefully it means we can realise much more progressive urban spaces sooner rather than later.
Right here,